Okay, had to make a quick adjustment there. I don't think I was going out on YouTube very well. Before I read the normal stuff there, I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Matt N9YVK. He's been handling our website for us, and he just recently updated the website. We made some updates to the preamble and stuff with the room changes and everything, so that is now available on the website. This net meets each Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the QSO America room 43815, which also has a FCS reflector, FCS4 room 54. The Bristol Amateur Radio Club Fusion room 61243 will serve as a backup should the QSO America be down at net time. Whenever possible, recordings of this net are uploaded to Ham Radio's own YouTube channel and or broadcast live, and we are doing that tonight. And if you'll visit the net website at tcme.club for net info and other pages. This net emanates from the Tri-Cities area consisting of counties in northeast Tennessee and the Mountain Empire of southwest Virginia. This net features connections from the Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia repeater 146.670 and the Mirrors 443.000 repeater on White Top Mountain in Virginia. These C4 FM repeaters cover most of the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire region. Thanks to a partnership with the Friends of Amateur Radio Group allowing us to use QSO America, we now have nodes and repeaters connected in different areas, including Harvey, Illinois, with more to come. Thank you to those who connect just for the net as well from other areas. And of course, our West Virginia folks, we've got some of them joining us tonight, and they've become regulars with us, and we really appreciate that. Check us out on NetLogger. It's available for free download at netlogger.org to follow the net. You can also access the net from any internet-capable device at k3clr.com. That's Kilo 3 Charlie Lima Romeo.com via his on-air net scraper. Of course, that works for any net that uses NetLogger. We welcome all amateurs to check in. At this time, we'll now begin taking regular check-ins. We've got 11 folks on the list for early check-in, but we'll take some more here. When checking in, give your name, call, and location. Let us know if you're going to be in and out. If you simply check in, we'll come back to you for comments. So any other stations that would like to check in, please call now.
Control, check in AB8RL, Alpha Bravo 8 Radio Lima, Tom and Scott Depot, West Virginia.
At Control, please check in Kilo Oscar 4 Echo Victor Echo Eddie in Jonesboro, Tennessee.
Okay, we picked up two more that time, AB8RL and KO4EVE. So we'll go ahead and do our normal stuff here with the topic and everything, and then run down the list. And anybody else that's waiting out there to check in, we will give you the opportunity to do so after we run through this group. All right, so I hold in my hand the envelope as a child of four can plainly see. It has been hermetically sealed and kept in a mayonnaise jar on Pumpkin Wagner's porch until noon today. But I will, in my somewhat mystic and semi-divine way, reveal the contents of this envelope. In other words, tonight's topic. So tonight's topic is going to be, if you could ask Santa Claus for any piece of amateur radio equipment, whether you have a realistic chance of getting that or not, what is your dream piece of amateur radio equipment, something that maybe you would never in your lifetime really buy, but if someone would just bring you one for free, something that's really out there, not looking for anything that you're necessarily going to realistically buy, but just that huge purchase or something, just really go out there and think about it. What piece of amateur radio equipment would you like to have? So let me reset here, and I'll go through the list. Okay, and everybody that we've got on the list tonight looks like they're a regular, so they've went through this process before. But what I'll do is I'll read a list of calls and names. If you have a pen and paper handy, or you're following us on NetLogger or on Internet Scraper, just jot down the person that's after you. If you don't have that handy, try to remember, if you're like me and you can't remember the call sign that well, try to remember the name and just say, hey, I'm passing it on to so-and-so. All right, so we'll start with me. I'm N4NT. Then I'll pass it to KO4 EVG Chester. Chester, you'll pass it to Wayne, WA4 JCF. Wayne, you'll pass it to Dennis, KW4AG. And Dennis, you'll pass it to Jim, KL1ZA. Jim, you'll pass it to Ralph, N4XRD. Ralph, you'll pass it to, where am I at here? Oh, another Jim. Okay, I was confusing myself. Jim, KE4MVW. And then Jim, you'll pass it to Chicago Matt, that's N9YB. And Chicago Matt, you'll pass it to Dallas, KD4CCO. And Dallas, you'll pass it to Lydia. And then Lydia, you'll pass it to Matt, and that's KA8YEZ. Either order, I guess, would be fine. And then Lydia and Matt, you'll pass it to Ken, KA4WMX. Ken, you'll pass it to Tom, AB8RF. And Tom, you'll pass it to our current tail gunner, which is Eddie, KO4EVE. Okay, so I'll start the ball rolling here. As far as a piece of amateur radio equipment that I'll probably never actually buy myself, that Santa Claus would definitely have to bring it to me, would be, and I can't even remember the model number, so that shows you how much I'm into it. But I was reading an article in QST today about this new amplifier that Flex Radio has come out with, and I had it handy, and I've placed it to the side. But it's supposed to be a full legal limit amplifier that covers every single HF band, including 6 meters, solid state, the whole works. You can computer control it and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it carries a price tag of close to $8,000. So unless I win the lottery or that one gets dropped by Santa, which I don't think I've been good enough for Santa to drop that one for me, so I'll probably do without. But if I could get anything extravagant that I normally wouldn't buy myself, amateur radio wise, that would be it. With that being said, I'll mention to the local folks that we are working on trying to put together I say the local folks, if you can hear us, you're welcome to join us if you're not local, but we know propagation isn't all that great right now. Working on trying to put together a 10-meter net for 1 or 2 weekends coming up next month with everything that's going on, just trying to ramp up some activity. I do know the frequency we normally use is 28.474 megahertz. I'm still looking at, it's probably going to be a Friday night. Just got to look and see what's available. Dallas KD4CCO provides a link for one of the local repeaters on the FM side, the 443-000, and actually links it into the 10-meter frequency, so that way everybody can participate, even if you don't have a 10-meter rig. And of course, we're in the technician portion of the 10-meter band, so everybody's good and legal to join. So there's my 10 cents. I'll pass it on to Chester, KO4 EVG.
Thank you, Adam. Just getting into the hobby, I'd appreciate just anything he wants to drop by as he flies around. I'd like to have a good
a good antenna, and maybe some other equipment. And I'd like to get back into studying, go up a class. I've been doing well the last 3 months, been in and out of the hospital. So hoping Santa won't pass me by without leaving something. KO4 EVG, over to Wayne.
Okay, yeah, looks like. Okay, here now I'm off. Okay, see, Chester KO4 EVG, W4NG net control. This is Wayne WA4JCF. I noticed a little color band just jumped on the net logger. I did download it, and I think I've got something working here because I have a list of who's checked into the net. And anyway, I guess my dream machine would be a matchbox that would work with open wire, like typically 450 ohm open wire feeders. And I still have a big pile of rust out here, but I still have the remains of a 80 meter dipole that I used a Johnson matchbox to work it on 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10, although 40 meters was where I typically ran it most of the time. But I have this software-defined radio. Having an antenna I could tune a little bit to the frequencies I'm going to listen to might help me to hear stuff. But I really wouldn't have any place to permanently mount an antenna here, but maybe I could do a temporary rig and just take a listen every now and then. Let's see, timer reset. Oh, I guess it reset. Then here, just I purchased this 4K computer display, and I've been having some fun trying to get it to work. It has let's see, 2 HDMI ports and a display port, and I'm trying to figure out what works with different parts of it. So it's been giving me a little something to do, trying to get all that working. I think I finally got it working. So that's what I've been up to here. Let's see, I guess my net logger working correctly. It would be over to Dennis, KW4AG. This is Wayne, WA4JCF. Go ahead.
All right, this is KW4AG over in Gate City. I was thinking, we were just talking and trying to listen to everybody's comments there. I think talking about something I probably wouldn't expect. It'd be about a 100-foot tower with a Force 12 6-band Yagi on it. They're only worth about $2,900. Anyway, that'd be mine. Anyway, everybody have a Merry Christmas, and we'll turn it to Jim, KL1Z8.
This is KL1ZA. Dennis, thank you very much. This is KL1ZA in Bristol, Tennessee. And first of all, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, especially the West Virginia people that check in here from my ancestral home state. What I wanted to bring me. I've been thinking about this the whole time. Everybody's been talking. And I'm trying to decide between a Roan 25 tower or a Yaesu ST101. Not sure which one. I appreciate them both, but yeah. And a 100-foot tower would be really nice too, but I don't see Santa fitting that in his sleigh. Anyway, well, 7-3 and Merry Christmas to everyone, and I will turn it over to Ralph. And for XRD, Ralph, go ahead, please.
Well, thank you there, KL1ZA, and for XRD here.
Well, as Dennis mentioned, and now Jim also mentioned, the tower would be the thing for me. I'd want a freestanding crank-up tower at least 60 feet high. And not only would I want the tower, but I'd want it installed already, and all I'd have to do is come up with the decorations to put on it. That'd be my Christmas tree for quite some time. With that, I'll hand it over to Jim there in Elizabethton, home of the finest cruise-ins around. KE4 MVW, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Ralph. Yeah, we do have good cruise-ins here in the summertime. I guess my dream machine, and I'm be pretty specific about it, is a Yaesu FTDX-101MP. The retail price is $5,199. And I truly doubt that Santa's going to bring me that within my lifetime. That being said, I'd like to have a tower with it too. If you're going to dream, let's dream big. And also the 10-meter net, I would be interested in that. Haven't done much 10-meter work since I got my general. Of course, this is in the tech part of the portion of the band, but I'd be interested in that. Let's see. I believe I'll pass it over to N9YBK, Matt in Chicago. With that, everybody have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And this is KE4 MVW passing it to N9YBK.
Thank you much. N9YBK, Chicago Matt here. Let's see, question of the night. I think Adam stole my answer. I'd like to have a flex radio with the all-band amp, and along with that a 100-foot tower trailer, so that I could move it easily. And because where I'm at in the suburbs of Chicago, I have terrible RF around in and around my house here, so that way I'd be able to relocate the portable tower wherever I need to, try and find the best spot without having to permanently put it in place. And still looking, I'm looking here in the next 6 months to a year to move, so that way it would be able to go with me. So I'm thinking ahead, but that's it for me for this go around. Other than it's great to hear Lydia on here. I like listening to her when she's running the on Saturdays on the Kids Net, so that's always great to hear. So great job to Lydia, and let me just keep it moving. I'll pass it on down to Dallas. I believe it's K4 CCO from N9YBK.
KD4 CCO, Dallas, you're up next. Are you there? I bet he got a phone call or something. He's usually there. So, well, I get to do the honors then. Okay, so I'll pass it up next to Lydia with KA8YEZ, and then Lydia, you can pass it to your dad there, however y'all want to do it. But, you're up next, Lydia.
Okay, my dad's on his side, and I'm on my mom's side, so I have to let you know from my side. My dad is so we have these wreaths, and my dad's taking the old tiny lights off and putting new bright lights on the regular side. He already has, I don't know how many done, 1, 2, 3, 4 done. He's working on the 5th one. We have 6 windows, so he has to do 1 more, and he might be able to do the rods, but he's running out of time. Yeah, so I'm going to pass it over to my dad.
Okay. Thanking you, Adam, there, boss, on that. I'd like to wish from the thriving metropolis of Wheeling, West Point, Virginia, everybody a very Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. I don't care if you have a Happy New Year, as long as you just have a healthy New Year. From us here in Wheeling. And, yeah, I got to have some old wreaths that we hang on the windows, and I'm trying to, that came pre-lit, or pre-strung with lights. Well, these things are bare to try to get the old strings out and put some bright LEDs on so people can see it from the road. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, I'm usually last-minute things, so Christmas is only 3 days away. As far as what's saying that could bring me? Well, the first thing that popped in my mind was a crank-up tower. But as much as I like repeaters, even though I don't know enough about them, a repeater where I could have the fusion, but also be able to link to some of the analog repeaters here in the area for emergencies. Because here in the hills, it's one repeater doesn't do everything. You got to have, if you have a wide area disaster or something, you got to have quite a few repeaters going to cover everything. So that's my wish. And I'd like to plug the Country Roads Net Thursday night. There will be one this Thursday. I think Rob, WXRW is going to be net control, but there is going to be net Thursday, Christmas Eve. 7 o'clock on the West Virginia link room. My mind went blank. I forget what the number is. I did the same thing on the HiNet. But Tom's in there, but he can throw out what that node number is. And so that's it from here. I think I got Ken, KE4WMX, next in the hot seat. Take it away.
Well, thank you, sir. And love you, too. Both of you sound wonderful. This is KE4WMX, your quiet Lodi. And I just want to key it up and say Merry Christmas, everybody. And I sure hope that 21 was a whole lot better than 20. And as far as the wish list, make sure my better half's not something at me. We have a tower in the backyard. Joke. That's always a joke with she and I. But with that, I'm going to say 73 and Merry Christmas, everybody. And I have the pleasure to turn it over to AB8RL, Mr. Tom. Take it away, sir.
84 WMX in the net, AB8RL. Tom in Scott Depot, West Virginia. Okay, first of all, the Country Roads Net is on Thursday at 8 p.m., not 7. It's at 8 p.m., and the note number is 46488. 46488. And like Matt said, W8XRW will be net control. As far as getting something I wished I could get, which I probably won't, but my dream radio would only be something fairly simple, but they're still fairly expensive, and that's a Flex 6600 with the Maestro control panel. Anyway, I think it'd be nice to have the ability to be remote, and if I ever have to relocate at my elderly age where I couldn't have an antenna, I'm sure I could work something out and still remain on the air some way, shape, or form. Anyhow, we'll wish everybody a upcoming Merry Christmas. I know up here in West Virginia, we're supposed to get some snow anywhere from 3 to 6 inches Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. And that's the story up there in West Virginia. Glad to check in, and you're right. Everyone's doing a great job. Okay, so over to Eddie, KO4EVE from AB8RL.
Well, good evening to everyone on the net. This is Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Victor Echo, Eddie in Jonesboro, Tennessee. I'd like to wish everybody on the net a Merry Christmas. And also hats off to all of you extra class operators. I'm currently studying for my test, which is coming up next month. And that's a lot. That's a lot for an old dumb truck driver to learn, all that circuitry stuff. But that's about all I have, and I know there's at least one more station waiting to check in, and I think I'm the tail gunner in this bunch. So back to net control.
All right, thanks everybody for the comments, and I'll make a couple quick observations here, and then I'll move on with some check-ins. But Eddie, I took that extra exam back in the early 2000s. I took it about 6 times, and 5 of the 6 times I missed it by 1 question, and the 6th time I passed it by 1 question. So that was just poetic justice, I guess. Yeah, and the 10-meter net we're working on, of course, will be on sideband. I know Dallas had asked me about that earlier. And something I did notice here that just kind of a curious point, I guess, but so far we've got 8 different counties represented. And the unique thing about it is we've got Washington County, Virginia, and Washington County, Tennessee, with 80 checking in represented. So those that are not familiar with the local area here, we've got 2 Washington counties, but they are in 2 different states, and they are separated, but in close proximity to each other. The county that I'm in, Sullivan, sits between the 2 counties. Anyway, we'll now open the floor back up for anyone else that would like to check in. Please call.
Net control, please check in Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Victor Hotel. This is Chad in Boone's Creek. Just got the kids to bed a little while ago and was all a little late for the check-in.
Net control. Please copy Kilo X-Ray 8, Delta Romeo Alpha, Jefferson County, Ohio. How's that?
Net control. Please check in Kilo Delta 9, Golf Victor Sierra. The name is Rick. And since we're talking about counties, I guess I'm in La Crosse County in Wisconsin.
All right, we picked up a few more there. We've got a second representation of Washington County, Tennessee. We got KO4EVH, Chad, and then we've got a county of Ohio and West Virginia that was on earlier with Matt and Lydia, and now we've got the state of Ohio. Just some random observations I'm making tonight there. KX8DRA got you on the list. And then looks like a newcomer to the net, KD9 GVS, Ricky in Wisconsin, and said he was in La Crosse County there. So welcome to the net. So what we'll do, if you're new to the net, well, it's Ricky. Basically what I'll do is go over the check-ins that we have, and then each one will pass to the other until we get to the end. So KO4EVH, Chaz, you'll take it next when I get done, and then pass it to David, KX8DRA, and then David, you'll pass it to the new tail gunner, Ricky, KD9GVS. If you're just joining us, the net topic is what is your dream piece of amateur radio equipment, even if it's something that you'll never realistically feel like that you'll own or Santa will ever bring you. Just dream big, and it doesn't have to be just one piece of equipment. It could be a whole setup. What would you in your wildest dreams, if you won the lottery or whatever, what would you buy or what would you get? So we'll start with KO4 EVH. Go ahead, Chad.
All right, thanks, Adam, N4NT. This is Kilo Oscar 4 Echo Victor Hotel. Couple things. First of all, kudos to Lydia. Great to hear her checking in. I know Caleb really wants to make the kids connection on Saturday night at 7 p.m., so hopefully when he's not at Grandma's, we'll check into there one of these days. The other thing is KO4 EVG, Chester, good to hear from you. I imagine you're probably in the same class as KO4 EVE and myself, KO4 EVH, since you were KO4 EVG. All we need is KO4 EVF, and we'll have the quadruple effect. Let me let it drop one second. All right, as far as a piece of equipment, you know, I've got a Yaesu FT991 Alpha, and I love it. It does about everything. It's probably one of the most, you know, up-to-date, technologically advanced radios. I really want awesome tube-type radio, like a HF 10 to 80 meter tube radio. I think a Swan Signet 270B is right up there on my list. It's a tube radio. I think you can hear the tubes warming up, which would be so cool if that even makes sense. You know, when you're talking on it, and I just love to have it. No waterfall, no digital carrier signal. Just winging it by ear. You know, some of the older folks are probably said, "Man, I hate those days," or "I'm glad those are gone." But I think it'd be so much fun to hear that. This is KO4 EVH, and I'm going to pass it on to, I believe it's KX8 VRA.
That is correct. It's Kilo X-Ray 8 Delta Romeo Alpha. Thank you, KO4 EVH, and the rest of your crew from that club. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I have a Kenwood 860, 830, something. I used to have the book standing right here. It has some tubes in it. The rest of it's solid state. I've used it on HF. You have to play around and tune it every time you change bands. And it's interesting, but it couldn't work on me. But there's a company out in Arizona or someplace that sells tubes, so I'm going to have to find what I need and get a few replacements. But I do like my 991A. I just bought it the week of Thanksgiving, and it is it's a beaut. I spent way too much, but it's a beaut. And love it. Love playing around on HF also. So my dream ham radio piece of equipment, oh, like Matt says, crank up tower. Full of antennas, all kinds of different types of antennas. That would be cool. And I don't know if this is ham radio related in some of your minds. It is in mine. I think it's Atlas. They make a corrugated culvert shelter. You bury it in the ground and you can live in there. And I would do that. All right, so hello, Lydia, and everyone else on the net. Sorry for being late checking in. And if I haven't dropped the repeater by now, I'll say 73 and turn it over to Kilo Delta 9 Golf Victor Sierra.
Okay, thank you very much, fellas. Yeah, this is KD9GVS. Name is Rick, and I'll call myself a visiting station here. I heard about your net through the West Virginia link, Matt over there, K8YZ, I guess, and so I thought I'd check it out tonight and see what you guys are up to. Very entertaining here so far. I appreciate you picking me up, and I suppose my dream equipment there. I guess I'll throw out what is the latest Flex 6600, I guess, and probably a nice solid-state amplifier to go along with it. And, and I suppose a crank-up tower, too. So, there, how's that for being greedy? But, anyway, I hope everybody has a happy holidays that's listening. So, thanks a lot, guys. KD9GVS, and I apologize. I don't know who I should turn it over to.
Okay, Rick, you're our current tail gunner. Let me try one here real quick. Gerald, if you're in there, N4GNG, let me, you might have doubled when you try to check in there. If you want to give it a try there, go ahead, Gerald.
Net control, you might want to check with KD4CCL, see if he's back to the Skywarn RM.
Okay, yeah, that was next on my agenda there. Gerald sent us a message, said he tried to check in. I think he's got in here before, so I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, sorry about that, Gerald. But as always, if you're anybody joining us on NetLog or YouTube, I do monitor those. So if you have any difficulty checking in, shoot me a message over there, and we'll make sure we open it up so we can get you in there. And real quick, let's see, KD9GVS, Rick, welcome to the net. Thanks for bringing Wisconsin. I'm not sure that we've ever had a Wisconsin station check in, so appreciate that. We're here every week and be glad to have you. And I've updated my net logger, so I looked at your QRZ page there, and it comes. You signed it as Rick, so I've updated it to say Rick, and noticed your interest in those cars and everything. I work as a police officer here in Bristol, Tennessee, and those Crown Vics are the. I sure do miss those things being around. That is the quintessential police car, but. Anyway, thanks for checking in. So let's check with Dallas real quick before we see if there's anyone else that would like to check in. Are you back with us there, KD4CCL? Okay, well his node is still connected, so we'll give him another shot there as we go along, but we'll open it up once again. Is there anyone else out there that'd like to check into the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Fusion net? Please call now.
Hey Adam, this is Brad, Kilo Echo 4, Whiskey Mike, Lima, checking in late, sorry about that.
Okay, we've got Brad, KE4WML, checking in, and I was just sort of had an impromptu keeping up with counties here tonight, just because I noticed we had Washington County, Tennessee, and Washington County, Virginia represented. So Bradley there's kind of an anomaly compared to some other places, because the city of Bristol, Virginia is independent, so it's kind of like a county itself. It comes up as Bristol City. They have their own sheriff and court system and everything, independent of what surrounds it. So, anyway, with that being said, our net topic tonight, Bradley, is that what kind of, if you could, if Santa Claus would bring you anything you want, or you could win the lottery, or whatever, what kind of piece of amateur radio equipment would you get that you probably wouldn't realistically buy? Just dream big, and it doesn't have to be one thing. And then, of course, anything else you'd like to comment on, go ahead.
Okay, Adam, and everybody else on the net, KE4WML. Let's say,
all things being equal, I would want from Santa to bring me, that's a tough one. This is going to sound kind of bizarre. I know everybody's been saying, you know, big fancy HF rigs and everything. I would like to have a Kenwood 742A. And they don't make those anymore. It's been a good 20 years since they have. And I almost bought one when I went in closeout, and I procrastinated too long and did not get one. For those of you who don't know what that is a modular type radio. They had one called the 642 and the 742. They were twin band rigs with the option of adding a third band, making them a tri-bander. And the 642 came with 2 meters and 220. And the 742 came with 2 meters and 440. And you could add, for instance, if you had the 742, you could add a 220 module as a third one, or a 6 meter module as a third one. What I would have done was have added the 220 module and had a 2 meter, 220, 440 mobile radio. With, obviously they were triple receivers. So you could cross band with them, and they were just a great radio. And they were extremely cost prohibitive when they were new. I think the 642 was almost $1,000 when they were new, with the 220 band already installed, and they were about $650, $700 with the 2 meter 440 one. So that's what I would want from Santa, is to find one in relatively mint condition to put in the car. That's what I would want from Santa. And I don't have anything else really. I guess Christmas is Friday. Seems like they come and go very quickly these days. Anyway, that's all I have, Adam. Thanks for letting me in. And I'll turn it back over to you. NM4T, KE4W, ML73.
Okay, Bradley, thanks for checking in. And yeah, that's a great radio you brought up there. I never owned one. I think Chris, K4XMN, may have one, but I don't know that he ever got the 220 module. I think he had the 2 meter 440 version. That was the biggest complaint I heard from people about that particular radio was getting that extra module. It seemed like it made it really expensive to do. But boy, that'd be the setup, and that made me think of another radio I'd love to have. And I want to say that the late great Charlie Snoochel had one. But Icom made I believe it was Icom, made an all-band 220 radio. And I would love to have one of those. I'd love to be able to have the capability of pretty much anything I've got a license for, being able to work it and work any modes that are usable with it or what have you. And I'm sure with the VHF, UHF contests and stuff, there would probably be some activity pickup on the sideband of 220 for the ones that have those. But kind of like trying to work C4 FM on 10 meters. Right now there's only one radio in the world that's made that does that. So you're pretty much dependent on finding other people that have them. But maybe one of these days when more of them get out there, we'll have a C4 FM net on 10 meters. Or if the bands open up where we can draw more people in. Anyway, that brings me to the bottom of the list once again. Let's see if there are any other stations that would like to check in.
SN4GNG, Gerald in Abingdon.
All right, you're making it in there now, Gerald. I'm glad. Thank you for sticking in with us. We'll go ahead and turn it over to you for comments. And I'm sure you heard the topic earlier, but it was basically your dream piece of amateur radio equipment, even if it's outside the realm of possibility, and then any other comments you'd like to make. Go ahead.
And that piece of equipment that I'd like to is that FTDX101 from Yaesu. I'll probably never be able to buy it, but I've been entering that sweepstakes every day that Hit Parts is having. So that's the piece of equipment that I would like to have. And yeah, Adam, I was trying to get in on the 146 repeater, but I couldn't get in on that one. I switched over to this 443. I guess I can make it with it.
Okay, yeah, you're making it good there. I know. I guess it depends on where you're at in Abingdon as far as the getting into. The only thing I've changed on the 6.7 repeater is the power output, but that shouldn't affect you getting into it. So it may just be the area where you're in there, but you're making it fine in the 443, so that's getting you in there. Let's see. Before I go for more check-ins, did you have anything else?
I just want to say 73s, everybody. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas on the net. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Adam.
Okay, Gerald, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm glad you made it in there. And yeah, I'm liking that new call you got there too. That's pretty good. I'm glad you got that. All right, we're at the bottom of the list once again. Let's let me check and see if KD4CCO, did you make it back with us?
Okay, I don't know what happened there. Are you copying me now?
Oh yeah, you're making it now. Go ahead, Al.
Okay, well, I was doing some experimenting here. I was trying to check in using my hotspot, but for some reason it wasn't making it. I'm on the 991 now on the 6.7 repeater. So, did you hear anything that I said prior to this?
No, we sure didn't. Just when you came back in there a few minutes ago.
Okay, well, I don't know what. I'll tell you what happens quite often. This 991 is real sensitive to analog. So if an analog signal hits it, even though I'm talking on digital, it will switch to analog, and I bet you that's what happened. I should know better than to leave it on AMS mode when I'm talking on the Bristol repeater. It's just a little bit too sensitive. Well, I won't hold it anymore. We've pretty well run out of time for the time span. So I'll turn it back to net control, and hopefully we won't mess up again next week. This is KD4 CCS.
Hey, no problem, Dallas. I don't have to be anywhere until noon tomorrow, so I'm good to hang out however long you want to comment, and the other folks can if they gotta go, we understand that too. That brings a good point. Real quick, I'll mention that's a practice that I've kind of started that I have found works pretty good. I basically use AMS on my mobile radio or base radio or whatever to monitor. That way, I know if somebody comes in FM or analog or FM or C4 FM, and then if I go into a conversation on the digital side, I just reach down and switch it into digital, so that because I've had several experiences where that happened. Now the drawback to that is if the other person stays in AMS and they get kicked to analog, you don't hear what they say for a transmission if they get kicked over. But yeah, that seems to come in handy doing it that way, and keeps it, especially if you're talking to somebody that's coming in on wires X or something, then you stay on the digital side by doing that. But and another thing I do is put the 6.7 repeater. I've used the DTMF command, put it over into digital mode for the net, and that seems to help a little bit too. All right, that's bottom of the list once again. Is there anyone else out there that would like to check into the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Fusion net? Well, over on the Yard Dogs net, which is on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, my buddy Chris that calls that net, he fills in for me over here occasionally. He will start, he looks and sees who's else connected, and if they haven't checked in, he starts rattling the bushes. I'm not going to do that, but I will give, I'll give one more call. But before I do that, I'll just mention, of course, his net tomorrow night at 9 o'clock in the Yard Dogs room. And for the local folks, be sure and check into the Mears net on 443.000 at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and join them over there. So is there anyone else that would like to check in before we close it up? Okay. Well, like I said earlier, I did kind of track the amount of counties that it had check-in, just because we have two counties in close proximity with the same name. I think we come up with 11 counties, and if you're still with us, look at number 6 on the list there, N4XRD. He's in Smith County, Virginia, and the reason I bring that up, that's where I'm from originally, which I now live 45 miles south of, give or take. But that's my home county, at least. He's the next town over from where I grew up. But anyway, so we had 18 check-ins counting net control, and we had 6 states represented, and I believe tonight was the first time we had Wisconsin represented on the net, if I'm not mistaken. And at one time we had 15 nodes connected. So thanks to each of you for taking the time to check into the net. Thank you to the Bristol Amateur Radio Club and the Mountain Empire Amateur Radio Society, or as we affectionately call them, MERS, for the use of the local repeaters, and to the Friends of Amateur Radio Group for the use of QSO America and all connected systems. And again, another special shout out to our West Virginia folks who have been loyal listeners for quite some time. This is N4NT closing the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Fusion Net at 10:23 p.m. Eastern Time. 7:30, and good night.